Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Detour Live. It's another jam-packed show. Iffy, you did well getting Sir Dave Brailsford, yes, but I've come out and delivered because we're going to go straight to the Vuelta. We've got stage 7 today, and we've got George Bennett, who's preparing for another big day in the mountains. GB, how was the rest day, mate?
Always welcomed. It's a bit different though. It's not like rest days aren't what they used to be, Jonesy. Rest days used to be the sort of like the essence of the 40-year-old man with a nice bike riding around cafes. You just used to go and find a coffee shop, put your deep wheels in, ride, and you just take over a whole cafe, walk in with your cleats. The directors are riding, everything like that. But now it's in COVID times, it's especially in late October, it's cut a lap as quick as you can, get back to the bus, get warm, and then just hit the pit for the whole day. So I got to a bit of Netflix and all the standard stuff, but yeah, definitely not as enjoyable as they used to be.
And George, what's the weather like up in northern Spain at the moment? It looks pretty rough on the telly, mate.
Oh yeah, it's a bit grim, that's for sure. Like I think yesterday, oh no, Dave. So the Sunday stage was maybe one of the coldest I've ever been in. It was, I think it was about 2 degrees on the tops and just absolutely pissing with rain. And it was like I couldn't believe it wasn't snow or ice. It was just, yeah. And you got these long, filthy downhills, and obviously everyone knows that the Tourmalet stage was changed because of COVID. But if we had run the original stage on those weather conditions, I think I wouldn't be here to tell the tale on the podcast.
Yeah, really. Well, everyone's talking about this jacket gate. I didn't see the footage, but apparently Primoz couldn't get his bloody jacket on. What's going on there, mate?
Oh, mate, we had a real mozzer. Yeah, we had a real shocker, eh? It's not often we make mistakes, but what happened was the play-by-play was that we're getting the jackets, and we already had jackets on. I mean, it was already freezing and crazy rain, and we already had lots of jackets on. But on top of that, there was a long downhill, and we decided we'd put another jacket on because you got down to the bottom, and then it was into the final climb. And we got some extra jackets in the feed bags, and we started putting them on, and just because the hands are frozen and everything like that, a couple of the boys had a bit of trouble getting theirs on, and I was fine. I got mine on, and I fought just to the front, and I think they were just a little bit too relaxed from the guys, and they were prioritizing the jacket over being in a good position at the top of the hill. And then Ineos just launched this full gas downhill attack, which split the peloton, and I got to the bottom of the hill, and I was sitting in top 5-10 positions. Had no idea what was going on, and then I just heard on the radio. I heard some yelling, and it was hard to hear everyone because everyone's got all these jackets on and stuff. And I sort of looked behind, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder where the boys are." And then I got the call on the radio, like, "Oh, sorry, George. We know you're in the front, but you have to sit up and wait." And I looked behind, and I sat up. So I sat up, went from the bunch, and I had time to even take a piss, take some of my jackets off. And I was looking around, and I was like, "Where are these guys?" There's just nobody I couldn't see anybody. And then at one moment in the distance, I just see 2 guys with unzipped jackets hurtling across, and it was Tom doing this insane pull with Primoz on his wheel, and Tom just managed to get to me, and then it was all the other guys had already used all their bullets. They'd done the first part, and then it was me and Primoz left, and we still had about 30-second gap to close, and we just said, "All right, well, this is in the next 2 or 3 minutes, we either win or lose the Vuelta." And I just did the hardest I could do, and I got to the back of the peloton, and obviously Movistar had caught on that I had to drop back, and Primoz wasn't there.
Those bastards!
Yeah, and they just went apeshit. So they had 2 boys in the front in the breakaway, and they called them both back. They said, "Okay, you 2 in the front, sit up." And they had like another 6 guys there from the peloton, and then it was just 8 guys versus me and Primoz, and we just went crazy, and we just got to the back. But I think they knew that we were absolutely gassed, and then they just kept going. And then all the way to the finish, I tried to ride the front tempo. And at this stage, I knew, okay, my GC fight was over. It was all hands on deck. And I tried to ride the front. But once they smelt blood, mate, they were just hooking us left side of the road, right side of the road, and then everyone else started getting in on it. And then you see like Esteban and
that little prick.
yeah, everyone just smelt blood, and they saw that what we just had to do to get back, and they could see the look on our faces that we were gassed, and everyone just went, 1-2, 1-2. All the way to the
Is that
finish.
what gives you the shits the most about Esteban? He gives off this persona of the smiling, Colombian kangaroo, but deep down, like if he smells blood, he'll shank you.
He is it's all a show. He's always like, it's okay, man, live the life, be happy. And he's just in the peloton. He's also like, don't stress. But he's in the peloton. He's hooking guys left, right, and center. He's yelling everyone. So don't let him fool you. He ain't this smile foundation. He's a fighter, which I love about him.
Yeah. Hey, we had
very lucky, really, only to lose 30 seconds, really, isn't he?
We definitely could have lost the Vuelta there, and it's good though. These are the things that make you learn. These are things that you don't do twice. I'd probably already done it 10 times, and that's why I was in the front group. But it's one of those things that the rest of the team will remember next time. Okay, next time we make some changes in the logistics of it, and we realize that in this race, when you have a guy like Primoz, who's the world number one, he's essentially he's the favorite, and people know they're not going to beat him in the time trial, and they're probably not going to beat him up hills. They just look for all these other opportunities to attack him when they can use a collective strength, like crosswinds or downhills or feed zones or whatever it is. They just find a way to. Everyone tries to flick you all the time, so you've got to be really sharp and just be ready for everyone to flick you.
Well, with the jacket, what's the protocol? You give it 5 seconds, 10 seconds. If you can't get it on, just write it off. Or what's normally what you do?
Yeah, I saw Jai Hindley in the Giro, and he was committing to the uphill jacket in the crosswind, and that was giving him the bike throws. What I do is I commit to getting the arms over, because the worst thing is if you get one arm over, then you have to get two over. Because if you have one arm over and you've got the other half hanging around your front wheel, that's dangerous territory. But yeah, the zip can. Once I get the arms over, which you can generally do reasonably quick, the zip you can just take or leave. And if you get the zip, great. If you don't, then it doesn't matter.
So they need to invent some sort of new age Velcro or something.
We've been debating this a bit, George. Yeah, I know. We've been debating this over the last few days because we saw, what happened with Primoz, of course, and then you mentioned Jai. He almost went down, and I think it was the same stage on the other side of the Stelvio where Kelderman couldn't get his jacket on. In the end, he threw it away, and it affected him because he didn't have a jacket on the descent. And we're thinking maybe just for those situations, the old Velcro would be much better than a zip.
What they used to do is on a dry day is let's just chuck old bits of newspaper up your shirt.
Back in my day.
Yeah, I think newspaper when it's 2 degrees and raining is not very effective. So, when I was back on Radio Shack, we had Velcro jackets, and they were terrible for any other situation other than getting them on quickly. But yeah, there is. I think the main issue is actually our jackets we have now are pretty easy to put on normally, but we already had. I had 5 layers on. I had an undershirt, a normal race jersey, then like a short sleeve shirt over top of that. I had a gabba, and then I put a rain jacket over top of the gabba. And you have big neoprene gloves on, so your fingers are frozen; they don't move. You've just got no dexterity. So, I think on the downhill, that's what happened with us. And then in the Giro, I think the problem was just the crosswind. It wasn't really if you had Velcro or not. It was just the fact that you had to sit up and then get the jacket over both your arms, and then that was the dangerous part.
We had a comment from Ian Thomas I was trying to bring up before. He said, George Bennett, for someone who said he was feeling a bit average before the event, you are doing a huge job so far this Vuelta. You must be feeling pretty good form-wise, mate.
No, not really. I don't have like the. It's been a weird year for me. Before the tour and going into the tour, I had like a really special feeling of where you just can be. You just know that no matter how hard it is, you'll be there. You might not win, but you'll make the selection up a hill. And then obviously dropped myself day one of the tour and just crept around France, and it's just been a real battle to come back. And here I'm good. I'm maybe the 10th best climber in the race, but I don't have that, like, I'm not in control necessarily. If they go really fast, I'm just hanging on the back. I'm not dictating the pace anymore. But I'm hoping it comes, and this is the big weekend of Vuelta here. So I'm good enough to do a job. I'm good enough to be there or thereabouts and maybe influence a race. But I just don't have that special feeling I have. It just hurts a little bit more. Everything, you start suffering a little bit earlier than you used to. But yeah, I mean, 2 weeks left of the year, and you can just suck it up. And actually, a lot can change in the Grand Tour. And at least this time, I have the feeling I'm getting better, not getting worse. So we'll see what next weekend brings. That's a huge one for us. I mean, this Vuelta is very front heavy. We've already had a crazy 6 days behind us, and the next 6 days, or the next 7 days, because that's the TT, will dictate the race. Today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday after that. I mean, there's only one mountaintop, so. I can't wait too long for the real form to come.
So today you've got a really decent stage, and the finale is very steep. So is this your day for revenge, or not quite?
Well,
that last climb, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of obstacles today. I mean, you see that. So that climb, we do that climb twice, and the descent before it is super tricky. It's cold today. I think it'll stay dry, but it's cold. It's windy. It's very windy, and
good jacket weather.
Yeah, I know there won't be jackets today. There'll be skin suits, short sleeves, and it'll just be a fight. It'll be a real fighting stage, and it's actually a great ambush territory today. It's now the shoes on the other foot. Really, we're sort of hunting rather than being hunted, which is actually quite nice. But yeah, there's definitely some opportunities on that. Depending on what happens with the breakaway. I mean, it's also a good breakaway stage. So with tomorrow looming, which is one of the hardest uphill finishes of the race, there's also maybe people holding back a little bit. I'm not too sure, but I think there could be. But there's at least potential for shit to really hit the fan today. And if we sort of come over those hills in the technical downhill into the bottom, and then it goes full gas up that hill, and then there's crosswinds to the finish. I mean, yeah, the ingredients are there.
Well, how was Primoz after that stage 6? I mean, given that it was the jacket, Esteban, those movie star pricks, he wouldn't have been too despondent knowing that his legs are still pretty good.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. He wasn't. I mean, he was just annoyed. He was just frustrated at himself, and of course, we were disappointed to lose time, but there was no defeated kind of vibe coming off at all. And I mean, 30 seconds is really nothing in the grand scheme of things. I mean, you look at the Giro, and Teo at one moment was 3 minutes behind, and he just was the best guy in the race. He just prevailed from just being the most resilient guy in the race.
Well, just on Teo's win, does that give a lot of confidence to pretty much everyone in the peloton that anything can happen?
I think it gives a lot of well, I mean, not everybody can do what Teo has done at all. But I think what it gives a lot of people hope in is the people that work really hard can achieve big things. Because, Teo, he's obviously he's a big talent, but he's not Remco Evenepoel that's been from when he was 10 years old, this guy's going to be Eddie Merckx or whatever. He's obviously a big engine, but what he does so well is he just is so professional. He works so hard, and nothing's given to him. He sort of just grafts away. He just ticks all the boxes, does all the little things, and it's added up to him being one of the best riders in the world, and deservedly winning that. I mean, no one gave him that Giro victory. No one. Yeah, sure, maybe 2 guys crashed out or something, but he still beat Nibali. He still climbed with fastest climbing times. He was still, he would have beaten. I think he would have beaten any, pretty much anybody there as well. He genuinely was a world-class guy there. And I think what people can look at that is go, if I work as hard as he does, I can also win a Grand Tour, and it shows, it shows the value of hard work when you look at Teo, and just keeping your head down and just not getting ahead of yourself and just working. And yeah, I mean, I take a lot of confidence from his win. I mean, I was really happy to see his win. I was really happy to see Jai there as well, and Wilco. I mean, all guys I know and have been teammates with Wilco as well. And yeah, for me, it was a really special Giro. And obviously, a bit of me was hurting. That was my original race plan, to be at the Giro, and it's always hard to watch a race you wanted to be at. But it was just, yeah, it was really, and for me, it was actually, I found it far more inspiring to see 3 young guys who work hard and race hard to being at the sharp end and being on podium of a Grand Tour than say, I mean, let's say Nibali. I mean, Nibali, I'm not saying he doesn't work hard, but he's been a big talent since he started riding a bike.
What do you think of Rowan Dennis's performance on the Stelvio and Sestriere? It was. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, what do you say about Rowan? I mean, he's a special guy, and man, he's just when he has a reason to ride to pedal that hard, he can do it, and all he needs is the right stimulus or the right sort of the right reason, let's say, and he can climb with the best guys ever. I mean, if you remember, he did a tilt at GC in the Giro in 2018, and he was sitting in 6th or 7th for almost the whole race, and eventually it caught up with him. But he was climbing with, he wasn't losing much time to us on the hills, and so when you see him, obviously there's a tight bond with him in the EOS team, and when he's there to put it on the line for his mate, he can really do it. And I think you have to credit him with breaking the other guys.
Oh, no doubt.
Before we let you go, George, a couple of quick comments. Jenny Whitehead says, good evening, guys. Good on you, Jenny. Stewie McIntosh, he says, GB, will you ever do a more solid block of racing than the last month or two you are experiencing? Is this going to be a one-off?
I hope so, mate. I hope I never have to put myself through what I've done this year. I mean, I genuinely have just turned myself inside out from the moment we were allowed outside. And I think in May I did 4 30-hour weeks just on the bike training. Then we went to altitude. Then we went to altitude camp with the team, and then I just went to Burgos, Tour de Lan, into Piemonte, straight to Lombardy, straight to Tour de France. Basically, from Tour de France, had a day at home, went to the Worlds, and now I'm here in the Vuelta. So I was just, I mean, hardly remember what my girlfriend looks like. It's just this crazy, crazy year, and I hope I never have to do this again. I mean, I'm grateful that we've been able to race. I'm grateful that we've gotten so much out of this year, and looking what it was compared to what it was looking like. But I just think I just don't think I can put my body through it again. It's I'm looking forward to 2 weeks' time where I can, I'm probably going to take about 3 or 4 weeks off the bike, and then I don't think I'll start racing again until, at least late February or something like that is when I guess, I just need to, or at least I won't race with any intent until March even, and because I think just what we've done the last 3 or 4 months has just been big workload, and it's been enjoyable, but it's also been, it's a double-edged sword.
Do you feel it in the peloton? A lot of guys cooked, given that it's late October, and you're still in a Grandy.
Yeah, this is what we thought. I was sort of riding around yesterday in the neutral zone, 2 days ago, and thinking, the crazy rainy day, and thought surely this is just going to be people just want to get to the finish, and then it was just war, absolute war. So I think everybody's the same. We say, we're tired and we want to go home. We're whatever. You put a race number on us and put us in a peloton, and we just show that we are just all slightly evolved monkeys. It's just primal instincts, and we just see a line, and you got to go from there to there as fast as you can, and you just go. And it doesn't matter how unmotivated or whatever. I mean, the average powers of the last 6 days, it's been far more than any opening week I've done. I mean, largely because of the nature of the course. They've been hilly days and bus country, small roads up and down. But as much as people talk,
you there, mate? It's all right. Your audio's just dropping in and out.
Yeah, but this whole year has been crazy like that, George. I mean, I've just been blown away by the intensity of the racing in everything that we've seen in the Tour de France, in the Giro, now in the Vuelta, in all the classics. Everything's just been a step up than what I imagined it could be.
Yeah, and I think that just shows that people that we didn't know if we were going to get a race. And then I think back to my first race out of the blocks was Burgos, and that was just from day one, crosswinds and big fights, and then straight into every race has been done at full gas, because people maybe they don't know if it's the last race or if there's also a lot of uncertainty within the peloton in terms of employment for next year. A lot of guys out of jobs. I mean, I'm hearing 100 riders still need contracts. So I think there's a lot to fight for.
All right, mate.
Anyway,
well,
boys,
we better let you go to Brecky. Last word, Sheila Richards says, not that one. This is the comment. She says, good early morning from New Orleans. GB, huge fan. Much respect to you all. So Sheila's a big fan, mate. No worries, mate. Enjoy Brecky. Thanks for joining us on the detour, mate. We'll speak to you soon.
All right, go, boys. See you later.
Enjoy, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Great insights there, Iffy, from George Bennett.
Fantastic. Yes, you've delivered very well there, Dan.
I'm not done. I've got another one. Allan Davis is at the Vuelta as well, doing some stuff with the UCI. So I've just said to him, we're ready to go. Now, while we're waiting for Albie, do you want to do a quick plug for Mutton and Wines, John?
Of course. I do this with pleasure all the time.
Every day.
I'm heading up there in a couple of days. Actually, I'm looking forward to it as always. I just rang them today to book a group wine tasting for next Sunday, which we'll be doing. But it's one of Australia's favourite wineries and a place of escape. You can experience the history, the beauty, and the serenity of the Golden Valley at your own pace. Looking over the vineyards from the iconic tower, staying at their new hotel, relaxing by the pool, recharging in the day spa, exploring the seasonal menu at the Muse, which I'll be doing big time on Sunday, and stopping by the Providor, touring their cellars, and, of course, tasting their signature wines. Yes, there's one of them there. It's become a hugely popular venue for weddings and major functions. Just gorgeous spot, and there's a couple just about to tie the knot, and a couple of guys who not sure if they're tying the knot or themselves. It could be these days, and of course the Aboriginal Art Gallery.
I think they're tying the knot, John. I think that's.
You think so?
Yeah, unless the bridal party's very close, I think they're tying the knot, John. That's Muse Gallery.
The Aboriginal Art Gallery, which is world class and it is amazing. And when you look around through there, you can see the $10,000 Land Cruiser that has the $850,000 paint.
$850,000! Wow.
Yep,
that's huge.
Yep.
Good stuff, John. Well, we're waiting on Allan Davis, but we've got another guest, Sam Bewley.
Morning, boys.
Hey, Bills. How are you?
All right, actually. Up in Andorra, it's covered in snow outside.
Really?
Okay.
Beautiful. I was at the beach a couple of days ago, and now I'm in the mountains.
And we just had your old sparring partner, George Bennett, on.
I saw he was there dribbling.
You got to feel sorry for the guy because from a rider's perspective, are you envious of the guys that have got 2 weeks to go in the Tour of Spain?
I think it's pretty tough for those guys there. You can obviously see. I was speaking with Julian Dean last night, who's the director of the Mitchelton Scott team there, and he said the racing's been unbelievably hard, super aggressive every day. You can see the weather's bloody crap. It's nearly November. And like you say, Jonesy, everyone else in the peloton has finished racing. There's only 100 odd people still racing. So I think they are probably the ones envious of us more so than us.
Before you go, I think we should do a quick word from our mates at Bike Exchange, and then when we come back, we'll unpack the Giro again and talk about the Vuelta.
Look at this bike. You think it's just a bike, right? But it's not. It's a bike. 374 people are looking at. This guy, this girl, them, all looking at it. People from here, there, and wherever this is. People that are looking for a bike. Or just a piece of it. Amateurs, semi-amateurs, and pro-amateurs. This guy wants this bike, but with this crank and these bars. This could be the perfect match. But not this one. This girl has a bike to sell, and thousands of people might purchase it. Eyes on Bikes help grow small businesses. His, hers, yours, and the latest data and insights help those businesses keep moving. We are the world's #1 bike marketplace, with over 500,000 products and 900 brands, where buyers and sellers are brought together in a place where a bike is never just a bike. Bike Exchange, where the world buys, sells, learns, and rides.
Now we've got another guest. It's jam-packed. We've got Allan Davis, who's at the Vuelta. Mate, that's a nicely pressed UCI shirt, mate.
Well,
mate, business.
It's all,
hey?
all systems go here, mate. How you going, fellas?
Good.
Good,
Albie.
What's your role at the tourist? What's your role at the Tour of Spain, mate?
So, UCI technical advisor is my role here, mate. So, yeah, been here since the start, and it's all going pretty good.
And how's it all going with the technical advice?
Mate, up until now, it's been there's a lot of work that goes into it before the race actually starts. So it's been months trying to get everything organised with the organisation, and mate, they've been really good. The organisation has set a really good example, I think, on how to control the circumstances with COVID, especially. They've done a really good job. We've had really good reports from all the teams, the CPA, which doesn't happen that often. So, it seems to be going pretty good at the moment.
Well, Albie, can you take us through what your role is in a day? How's your day pan out?
So I'm basically here with the UCI commissaires of the race. So that's not my job, but I'm here with them. So I'm basically like a middleman in between the UCI and the organisation and the teams to try and get everyone on the same page and to pass information. So basically, on a daily role, I go to the start. I go do the rounds of the teams, all the team directors, and a lot of them are my old teammates or my old teams that I've been involved with. So I know a lot of them personally. Get any information from them that needs to be passed on to the organisation or the UCI or vice versa. And then I basically go in front of the race and just give a bit of a look at the race route with an ex-bike rider's eyeball, and really check on safety and anything else that really pops up, and then go to the finish and analyse the race from the TV. And then after that, all the commissaires meet at the finish. We have the meeting and then put a communique out on the commissaires' work, what they have to do with their job, and then basically we head home.
Given that you're a former sprinter, Albie, is road furniture a big thing that you're looking out for, particularly in those finals?
Yeah, I mean, it's complicated. It's not a football stadium. It's the bike racing's a rolling event, so it's every day is different. So road furniture, I really like to check the finish line. The last few Ks. Obviously, as we know, it's especially on a sprint day, it's really, really important. The barrier set up, just little minor details. How the sponsor, how it's attached to the barriers, how the sponsor finale is all promoted, and just make sure it's like a safe environment for the riders to put on a show, and little things that bike riders pick up that other people wouldn't. It's basically what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Is there a bit more of a concern given that COVID's bloody exploding in Europe at the moment, and parts of Spain now are going into sort of full lockdown, I think, for the next couple of weeks? Are they worried about the next 2 weeks with the areas that you're going to in Spain?
Yeah, well, ironically, Jonesy, everyone here inside the bubble is probably safer than outside the bubble. So especially if you've got kids, you go home and your kids go to school, they're accessing hundreds of other kids and teachers, and so you're open to getting infected a lot more at home than in this bubble. So it is, you're right, outside in Spain it's getting and across Europe it's getting more and more as we get into as we get into winter, as expected. So it is starting to heat up a bit, but a lot of the information and what the race will go on is inside the bubble. The tests, testing results. I know we've been tested a couple of days ago. All the police, everyone involved, and there was 0 cases. So a lot of it, I think, will depend on that and how those results come out.
Are the UCI still checking for motors, or they sort of got to the point where like, nah, no one's got a motor anymore?
Sock height, mate.
Yeah, mate. Sock height first. No, definitely motors. Actually, Dan, that was part of my job before the race started. I had to. There's a time trial in. Actually, you were there in 2012. Remember, we went up a really steep climb, really over the Galicia side. That was the first time the race has been up there.
Was that when you had that motor that year? Oh shit! Sorry, mate.
Yeah, so we're going up there again, and actually the race is going to put like a pit lane for the time. It's a time trial. So at the bottom of the climb, there'll be an option for the riders to get a bike change.
Mm.
So it's been obviously with the motors and that situation. We have to have extra personnel from the UCI to check that the spare bikes haven't got motors and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yep. Iffy, anything to add before we let Albie get back to work?
Well, a question for you, Albie, as an old pro, and you've been around the bike game for a long time. Do you reckon, with lots of rumours, do you actually reckon any of the pros, anyone on the World Tour, has tried to cheat with a motor?
I wanted to ask that. Good question.
As viewers could probably back. Some days it feels like it. Racing.
Other days it feels like an anchor.
They got a motor and we got a parachute. But I don't know, mate. It's so.
Come on, Alan. We want names. Who was cheating? Break it here on the detour.
A motor on my bike, but it's. I don't think so, but it's definitely something that as we move forward with technology, you have to keep an eye on. It's probably would have been possible before when no one was talking about it. Maybe it was possible then to get away with it, but I don't think so. But I think it's something that needs to be monitored for sure.
Mm. Good stuff, mate. Well, we better let you get back to work. I know you got to head out. There's an hour transfer. Transfers haven't been too bad at the Vuelta here compared to the Giro, at least.
Yeah, well, no, there's been a lot better, mate. That's part of my job as well, leading into the months leading into the race, and as soon as the race route gets announced, just working with the organisation to try and keep it all. There is rules in place with transfers now with the World Tour races, so making sure that everyone obliges to that, and if there is an example where it has to go over, that it's known beforehand and the teams are known about it. So they're just common sense rules, really. But it's all pretty good.
Good stuff, mate. All right, mate. Well, enjoy the rest of the day and good luck finding those motors.
No worries, boys. Have a good one, mate.
See you, mate.
Just on those transfers, Bewls, geez, how much does that tax you at a Grand Tour when you look at the race route and you go, oh, that's a filthy stage, but then they throw in those, it's going to be an hour and a half to start and 2 hours at the finish?
Well, if you ask Luca Mizgits, he loves them. He loves the time on the bus. But ultimately, I mean, yeah, we complain about them and stuff, but we do have a nice, comfortable bus. We do have a shower. We do have food and all that stuff. But, yeah, it does delay the recovery process in a sense, because often if you have a long transfer after the stage, you can't have a massage because you might not arrive at the hotel until 9 o'clock at night, or as opposed to 6 or something. So you lose massage and you end up having dinner late, which means you go to bed late. So yeah, the post-race transfers for me is a little bit more annoying than the pre-race transfer. Yeah.
We were asking George earlier about what effect Teo's Giro win and even the ride of Jai Hindley, how much confidence does that give to the peloton in terms of, anything can happen, particularly after 2020?
Yeah, that's right. Mate, those two kids kids. Jesus, listen to me. It's like an old man.
Pops. Back in my day when I started.
That's my role.
It's starting to sound like bloody iffy.
No, but mate, it's such a funny year, like you say, Jonesy, because those two guys, as classy as bike riders they are and good people they are, no, they weren't on the favourites list. Of course not. They were there to ride for either Geraint Thomas or Wilco Kelderman. And it's sort of like the epitome of 2020 and just the Giro. We know we've spoken about it on the show before about how much can change in the last week of the Giro. You and Effie were talking about it a lot about, the race still has so far to go with only a week to go because you never know what can happen. And look what happened. Teo was 3 minutes behind at one point, and he ended up winning the Giro. So yeah, but it's the step. It's the changing of the guard in a sense. You can see it obviously at the tour with Pogacar, and then you got these two young guys as well. It is the changing of the guard a bit. Nibali said that. He said that it's not an old man's. The Giro this year is not an old man's race, and he was right. And yeah, these young guys they're just stepping up. They always were going to step up, but these days they step up quite quickly compared to back in my day.
Hey, Johnny, I want to ask you, what were your big takeaways from the chat yesterday with Sir Dave Brailsford?
I don't think I've ever seen him as animated as that. He was really in a great place. I know he's been pretty crooked. He's been, as you mentioned, he's had prostate cancer and he's still going through some tests and that with that. But my big takeaway was that what he said about changing their way of thinking was pretty honest, I think. And that was my big takeaway, that he's not going to just go into races with a plan of dominate the time trials and put in a defensive style. He got quite excited about this Giro and the way that they've raced. So it's been as much as bad as it was for G to smash his pelvis and crack out of the race. It really was something for Ineos, where they went out and did something so different. I mean, there were so many things that happened for that team in that bike race. I mean, seriously, Garner for a start, okay, the world's best time trial. The stage he did, the road stage he won in the mountains, that was more mind-boggling than his time trial wins. And then up the last two mountain days with Rowan Dennis, up Stelvio and Sestriere, that was game changing. He won the tour for Teo without any doubt. So for the team, it was just staggering, and you could tell that. I don't know if you saw it last night, yours, but we had him for nearly an hour, Dave Brailsford, and he was quite forthcoming on a lot of things.
He's probably feeling a little bit more chipper than he was at the end of September after the tour, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we tried to get him 3 weeks ago, and I think he gave it for the arse because it was just after the tour, and and I think G just crashed out or whatever. But the other thing was, it seemed like he understood a lot more the power of having fun and enjoying what you do rather than taking that sort of robotic approach. Now, Bewls, one of the things that popped up is we had like some viewer comments, and they said, for a long time there, Green Edge, took having fun pretty serious, and that actually enabled them to punch above their weight. Do you feel that that's been a big part of the culture over the years?
Oh, it's the backbone of what this team's been built on, and like you say, I guess we've never been on the inside of Ineos or Sky or whatever Grenadiers to know if they have fun, and I'm sure they have. I'm sure they have a little bit of fun, but I guess you could compare our team and their team, probably two quite different ways of operating in terms of the culture. Like we're certainly about winning. We want to win on this team as well, but it's not at the expense of having good people and making a culture, making a home and stuff like that. And I reckon that did, early on the team was still finding its feet and finding what direction we were going to head in. We were sort of more of a sprint team for a couple of years there, and then we started to think, maybe about the classics, and then we went into the GC stuff, and that's changed the way we do things off the bike as well a little bit. We do have to be a bit more onto it with training camps and altitude camps, and we're ticking all those boxes and doing those things as well. But like I say, it's not at the expense of the culture of the team and the people that are involved in the organisation. I mean, you could be the world's greatest bike rider, but if you're a dickhead, we actually do have a no dickhead policy in this team, and that's super important for me. 100%, it's the number one thing, and why I want to continue to race my bike, and why I want to continue to race my bike in this team, because I have fun and I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah, for sure. And also, do you find that what's evolving is when you do? Remember back in the days, you'd hear stories of Sky doing these like Mallorca training camps where they'd literally bunker down for 3 or 4 weeks. There'd be no internet. Guys are away from their families and that. It takes a special rider to fit into that culture, where it is like you are putting so much on the line. Do you think that that's also had an effect on some of the performances that we've seen maybe this year, particularly with COVID? Like, the mental effect where some guys, it has literally cooked them a bit what they've had to go through.
Well, I think you can even go back further than this year. And you look at the likes of Bradley Wiggins, who unbelievable talent, but he wasn't. His brain hasn't been built to operate like that, Jonesy, like for years and years and years on end. Whereas Froome, maybe he's different. That's what he thrives on. He can operate in that system, and that's why he won 4 Tour de France's. Whereas Wiggo, he only had one in him. He only had 1 year in him because mentally he couldn't continue to operate that way, and that's why he was only going to ever win 1 tour. And then G as well. I think I don't know G that well, but a little bit that he's a bit more of a relaxed character as well from everything I understand about him. And he's come in late to the GC game. Obviously he did all the track stuff for a long time. He did all the classic stuff for a long time. So he wasn't quite in that Mallorcan 3-week training camp, no internet system like you're saying. It's a little bit later on. So he'll only do it for 2 or 3 years as well. So yeah, I think it's at the expense. The way they do it can be at the expense of characters, because they just want to win the races, and they always know there's someone else coming. So if they can only handle it for 1 or 2 years, they just tune them through and bring other guys through, and you see it. They have success and they win lots of Grand Tours, but they win lots of Grand Tours with lots of different guys because they just recycle them, and they're okay with that.
Well, we've got a comment from me and Thomas. He said, Ineos let Rowan do his thing this year, and look what happened. Do you feel that at times as a rider, you can have your head filled with just too much shit? Sometimes just let the guys just race. Have a plan, but just let them race.
Yeah, I guess that comes down to characters again as well. Like it comes down to you could say that, but if you're talking to the wrong person, they'll still fill their heads with shit because that's who they are. Or you can fill someone's head with lots of shit and they would only take on what they need to take on because that's who they are. It just comes down to characters. So what your character is, what your personality is. And then I think as a team manager or as a team director, it comes down to managing those personalities in different ways because everybody is different. So you can't speak to 8 people on the bus as if all those 8 people operate in exactly the same manner.
But what you're saying is it depends on how big your shit tank is.
Yeah.
If you've got a big one, then you take more.
Truthfully, you know what I'm saying. Like, I came onto the show, I was just kind of out of bed. I've walked into this, and I've just been bombarded with these questions. But, I don't know the answers to.
You're so used to doing the social distance podcast where we talk about stuff that has got nothing to do with bike racing, and then you come in here and I put this 60 minutes cap on. I'm like, well, Sam, we want to really delve into the psyche of a bike rider.
I was supposed to be on Skype with my old man. I told him I'd be on in 15 minutes.
Sorry, mate.
He's watching the detour, so he knows I'm on.
You know what? Dave Brailsford has taught me to just cut the crap and let's just go back to having fun. We've got another comment, Sam. Tell us about Dos Kiwis Brewing, Bewls.
Dos Kiwi Brewing. It's a Kiwi guy in Girona, or just about 15k to Girona, who lived in London for a long time, moved to Girona about 5 years ago, or no longer actually, and started a brewing company. He married a Catalan bird. He called it Dos Kiwis. He's the only Kiwi in the group. But, yeah, it's just a microbrewery, craft beer, tap house, about 15k to Girona. And, he's with all the Kiwi boys go there, watch the rugby and stuff. He's a sweet dude.
Yep. Good stuff.
Of course.
All right, well, anything you want to leave Bewls with? He's got to Skype his old man, Iffy. So make it a good one, please.
He's watching the show, so I've probably got time now because he's going to.
Why don't we send him a link? Get him on. Kill two birds with one stone. Kenny's a great character. Anything you want to add, Iffy?
Well, I'll just say what Bewls was just saying. The question you asked, and that's exactly what Dave Brassfield was saying. With what happened at the start of this with G, and he's suddenly out, it made them all, think differently. So okay, go for their own thing, and he got excited about the race. So it's made him change what he wants to. He's saying that now, but when you get to a next Grand Tour and you've got someone who you reckon is going to is a great time trial and can win it, you'll end up going back to the same old way of doing it because it's been so successful. But at the moment, he's excited.
Well, I felt a bit cheated with the interview because I had my own dramas here with the internet. So I didn't realise that I've got like a Telstra dongle that Sandy hooked me up with. And it's 4G. I'm in Ocean Grove, so the reception's not too bad. But I could sense that something was draining the juice out of this thing. And I'm looking around the house and I'm trying to disconnect devices. And I forgot about that, that Google Chromecast you can get that you plug in your TV. This thing sucks the juice and Wi-Fi out of your dongle. So as we're talking to Dave, all of a sudden it cuts out on my end when he's telling us about how to make cycling more sustainable. My heart just starts skipping a beat. I'm thinking, shit, this is one of the best interviews we've had all year, and it's cut out. It's over. And then I finally come back on, and I was so rattled. And then it happened again with Dave Miller. And at one point, if you had to step up the plate and do the rap, and that mentally cooked me. Absolutely fried.
No problem. No problem. Yeah. I was disappointed when Jonesy came back. I was just about to take over the show myself.
One question I would have loved to have asked him, and that was, I didn't know he had health issues, John. I didn't know he had prostate cancer, and he sounds like he's recovering well. How does that, given that you've gone through similar stuff, how does that change your mindset, John, when you do get news like that and you are in recovery? Does it change the way you look at things moving forward?
Well, I did know about it earlier with Dave because we spoke about it last year. We had a bit of a chat on the phone about it. And he was telling, I was using me as a sounding board. Look, it does. Everyone treats it differently. I had a fairly serious one with esophageal cancer, but I'm a very positive person. I always, what it does for a lot of people when they have a life-threatening cancer and recover, they then realise life is short and you've got to enjoy every day. Don't think about the long term, enjoy every day, smell the roses. But I always did that anyway. So probably, and I'm not joking, I always have. So it probably didn't change me a lot. And I always believed I would recover. But Dave sounded pretty good yesterday. I think he said he had some tests to go, but he sounds like he's beaten the damn thing, the mongrel thing.
Well, you actually lost a significant amount of weight after your operation, and for a while there, you had a lot of people coming up to you going, "Jesus, John, you look great. What's the secret, mate?" And what was your reply?
Yeah, cancer. Works well. It's one of the great weight loss programs. Works well every time.
All right. Well, we are looking forward to stage 7 of the Vuelta. Who's your prediction, Iffy? Who do you think is going to win the stage? Well, going on what Bennett said, Roglic, his form's actually not too bad. He just can't do up a bloody jacket.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the GC guys will be playing some games, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a break go away today.
I'll quickly run you through who the favourites for the stage are. Roglic is on top, $7. Luis Leon Sanchez, $9. Baggioli, $13. Costa, Formolo, Peters, Omar Fraile. Then you can write a checkbook for the rest. But you like any of those ones?
No, I'm going to go for a break with no one that's up in the top 20 on GC. I think it'll be someone a good break that gets up the road. For today. You, Bill?
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen the stage just then, so I'm processing quickly. On paper, I agree with you. I think breakaway. and I think it's a pretty steep climb, that climb from memory. So maybe quite a good stage for Michael Woods or someone like that.
Oh, yeah, Woodsy.
Throw that name out there.
Okay. We had a pretty good comment, and it was from Lucy Jones, mainly directed at you, Iffy. Who do you think will win Cycling Australia's Cyclist of the Year with Richie's TDF and now Jai's Giro result this year? That's a good one.
That is a very good one. I would have to lean towards Jai because, best ever Australian in a Giro. I did say yesterday it was the first Australian on the podium, but it wasn't because Cadell finished third in 2013. I'd forgotten about that when he was with BMC. But still, that's the best ever effort by an Australian in the Giro. I think that, to me, would nail it.
Well, Tomo disagrees. He says, Richie, for me, Jai's time will come. So there you go. And also, Tom Maloney wants to know, John, tell us about you coming out of it after your operation with 10 bikies in your room at hospital. What's all that about?
Well, it was interesting because one of the legends of Australian cycling had passed. Peter McDermott, a Geelong guy, had passed away, and his funeral was in Geelong, and a whole stack of the guys came over. Tommy was there, and Donnie Allen, and Kevin Morgan from Tassie, and all these great legends all went to the funeral. They thought, we better go and see. They tell if he's on his last legs, he's probably not going to make it, so we better go and say hello. So I woke up and they were all standing in the room. I thought, Jesus, it's my funeral. I woke up at my own funeral.
Now, Bulls, I think we had a question here from Wendy Superman. Bulls, how's your recovery?
It's been slow, Wendy. It's been slow. It's all right now. It's okay, but it's still not 100% actually, to be honest. We went on holiday over the weekend, and this story will come back to my wrist. And we were sitting on the couch on the last night, and one of the girls got up to go to the kitchen, and she just shit herself, like, started screaming, and I like panicked, like I thought, is someone in the house? So I jumped up and pushed as hard as I could. With first time I'd actually just forgotten about my wrist because I had to spring into action. Pushed off the couch as hard as I could, and my wrist, I felt like it was just snapped my wrist in half. Turns out it was a rat. There was a rat in the kitchen. So, yeah.
One in the kitchen, one in the lounge room. 2 rats.
That must have been good. Must have been good to get away, Bills, given the year, particularly at this pointy end. Now that a lot of guys they just need a break. Yeah,
and it's really bad. And as you guys were saying before, it's really bad in Europe again. It's particularly bad in Spain, and particularly bad in Catalonia, where a lot of us are spending this time. So there's a lot of new restrictions being put in place over the last couple of days. We're sort of heading back down that path that no one wants to go down again. But yeah, lots of restrictions. Bars and restaurants are closed. We've got a curfew now with big fines if you're seen outside after the curfew. So it was nice to get away to the Balearic Islands where the restrictions are not so bad. Where we were still very cautious, taking precautions. Every precaution that we could. We just had a big house and we just spend most of the time there. But we could go out for lunch if we wanted to and go to the beach and things like that. So it was really nice to get away from the shitstorm for a little bit, even though it still exists there. But now I'm in Andorra and it's not much to do here because it's snowing, so that's all right.
Sheila wants to know, I should have queued it up. Tell us about the picture of your butt pose, Bulls. What's the backstory?
Oh, there's a backstory to that, actually. So we had 8 of us on this weekend away in the islands, and we ended up having a boys' afternoon where we just went to the beach. The girls wanted to go shopping. The boys were probably too hungover to do that, so we just wanted to go lie on the beach. And it just seems everywhere we went in Ibiza was just these Instagram influencers. Everyone was looking for the perfect shot, whether it was the perfect shot of the sunset or the perfect shot of themselves. And there was this one girl at this particular beach that honestly, it would have been 1.5 hours standing on the same rock, doing like this and that, and she would have taken 100,000 photos, man. Like we were literally sitting on the beach like, this is mind blowing. An hour and a half. So then I just took the piss out of her and did one. That was
oh, good stuff. All right, anything you want to add before we go, Iffy?
Have we shown the our sponsors video?
Yeah, did it earlier, mate. You first stages of dementia.
You sure?
Say this on every episode. We did.
No, I know I did mine, but did we show the bike exchange one?
We did show it. I said before you answer, I showed the video, and then Allan Davis come on.
Okay, that's all right.
Oh, before you go, actually, I saw a article on cycling tips. I thought it was pretty interesting, and two guys, Ashley and Jared Gruber, they went and rode the Roubaix course anyway, just to see what conditions it would have been on Sunday. And we missed what could have been an absolute bog heap. You know how everyone wants a boggy Roubaix? Yeah, that would have been on Sunday. How would that go on, Bewls, if you didn't bust your wrists and Roubaix went ahead and you had to saddle up?
Oh, I'd have busted it there, I suppose, by the looks. No, it looks pretty gnarly, eh? But they do clean, and in fairness, they do clean the roads. Like, if the race was on, they would have made an effort to make it a little bit more rideable. But yeah, it would have been, like you say, the first wet, muddy Roubaix we've had in a long, long time.
I got to tell you, Jonesy, it's scary that we're on the same wavelength. I was looking at that cycling tips, those photos of the Grubers doing that, and it was on my little list to bring up.
Really?
We would have got a wet Paris-Roubaix this year. Yeah. So there you go.
Well, the website, if you are living under a rock, is cyclingtips.com.au. Yep. So go check that article out. There's some great photos. Hey, Bills, before we go, what's the general chat among the riders and teams and stuff about when do they think the season will get underway next year? Do you think there's going to be a bit of a delay given what's going on in Europe?
No one knows. We've got some team meetings in the next couple of weeks. I think the team's still working out the logistics behind that as well with the new restrictions. They might mean that they're virtual meetings, but we will have meetings about the race calendar and stuff. It's so hard to know. I mean, I think come January in Europe, things aren't going to be considerably better because things are just getting quite bad quite quickly. But there's still racing going on. Like, so they're proven that they can race. Like the Giros went all the way to Milan. The Vuelta's still racing, and even though like the country's got massive lockdowns and restrictions in different areas, still going. So I think that's a sign that the governments are okay with it, and it's also a sign that, like Albi was saying, they've had no positive cases, and the bubble it's actually healthier to be in the cycling bubble than outside of it. I 100% agree with that. So yeah, the governments are obviously saying, yeah, we're okay with it, and the races are pulling it off. So even if it is bad in January or February in Europe, I don't think there's anything to say that the races won't happen at this point because we've proven that they can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Before we go, another comment from Lionel Marie. Hey guys, nice to hear you in Aussies accent. I think that's meant to be Aussie. But we know what you mean. I hope you're well, Lionel. He's a DS for Israel Startup Nation. So he'd be pretty G'd working with Froomey and Daryl MP next year. And
Dan Martin's in form. He's looking good at the moment. Yeah.
And also on the show tomorrow, we've lined up a very special guest, John, Zach Dempster. What sort of questions should we pump into Demmers, Jules?
Ask him about his dog. Loves his dog. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Just ask him how his dog is, and you'll get a good 20 minutes out of him.
Really?
Yeah.
Ask him how he lost the Bay Crits in a photo finish.
Okay. Have you got photos of that? All right. No worries.
You're asking the right people, Jonesy.
All right, John. Anything you want to add before we go?
Bewls, great to see you, mate. Hope that wrist heals up. So,
thanks, mate.
Yeah, all good, bud.
I'll give you a bit more. I'll give you a bit more notice.
12 hours, okay. 24 hours or 12 hours would be good.
In fact, we had that chat a week or two ago, and you said, mate, I don't mind coming on. Just give me some notice. And, yeah.
I haven't 9 minutes this morning.
It's all right. You're great. You don't need notice, mate. Just come on, get ambushed, in and out. That's fine. All right. Well, we'll be on again same time tomorrow night, and we'll be chatting with Zach Dempster, and I'm sure John will have another big guest that he's going to hook.
I'm working on one. Yep. He's answering as we speak, so I'll let you know tomorrow.
Ooh, can you give us is it a surprise, or could you give us a clue?
Well, he did go very, very well in the Giro.
Ooh. Wow. Okay. Stay tuned. Tomorrow night, all will be revealed. We'll see you then.